Hello, everyone. Good day. My name is Lester Lark Jr., and I am the minister of the Southwest Church of Christ in Dayton, Ohio. I am also the co-founder of plugintohelp.org. I'd like to speak with you today on a very important topic: red light cameras, or as some call it, red light scammers. Red light cameras, are they effective in reducing automobile accidents, or is this just another way to generate revenue for the city while simultaneously creating additional hardship for low-income communities? Do they really achieve what is being reported by the city? The City of Dayton Commission has decided to install and re-implement these red light cameras after the Supreme Court of the state of Ohio have ruled against these cameras because they do not allow for due process unless the cities which use them comply with certain restrictions. You know, they make the claim that crashes are reduced where these cameras have been installed. They decreased during the period at the time that they were being used at one time here in the city, and then they were taken away. And they claim that crashes were reduced during that period of time. Well, I'm here to tell you, Dayton residents, that the data on this is biased. The data has been presented in a biased manner in order to achieve the presenter's goal. Well, I'm here to tell you today that skewing of the data or failing to present all of the data by voluntary omission, it may convince some that these cameras are necessary to reduce car crashes. But here's the real question: who does this help? Let's just take a look at a couple of studies that I have found and see what conclusions that they drew. A study conducted by the Chicago Tribune, which accounted for declining accident rates in recent years, as well as other confounding factors, and they found that red light cameras reduced right angle crashes that cause injuries by 15%. This is what's being presented by most cities. But they failed to tell you that at the same time, the same study calculated a corresponding 22% increase in rear end crashes that cause injuries, illustrating a trade-off between the camera's cost and the benefits of those cameras. The researchers also determined that there is no safety benefit from cameras installed at intersections where there have been a few crashes with injuries. They found that such accidents actually increased at those intersections where the cameras were installed. And also a study was done by the Department of Transportation's Federal Highway Administration Research and Technology. They conclude in a study of their own that statistically crash effects were consistent in direction with those found in many previous studies, although the positive effects were somewhat lower than those reported in many sources. In other words, they found the same results, but in many cases, the studies that were presented before them actually showed a higher benefit. Not so with the DOT. And so I ask you again, who does this help? It doesn't help those in low-income neighborhoods where it is determined that these cameras should be placed. If it decreases one type of crash, you have to ask yourself, but causes another type of crash, rear-end crashes, to increase in frequency and severity, who does this help? Well, I'll tell you who it helps. It helps the city generate more revenue while simultaneously creating additional hardships for low-income communities. Faced with red light camera infractions, the already burdened low-income communities, when faced with these infractions where the cameras are situated, they must pay a fine of $85, with potentially warrants being issued for unpaid fines, which could lead to arrest, and or driving privileges suspended altogether, starting a snowball effect which may be difficult for them to recover. So I ask you once again, who does this help? I'll tell you who it helps. It helps increase the funds in the city's treasury. It helps the contract company who is tasked with installation, maintenance, repair, or even replacement of the camera units. It helps the cash flow of the criminal justice system. And so now, as we consider this issue of whether or not red light cameras are an effective technology in reducing crashes, let's ask the question why. If it is in fact effective, why not have them in all areas of the city and not just in the low-income neighborhoods, which could most certainly be viewed as another burden placed upon the backs of the poor, while having the real reason cloaked in a mask of caring? Let me leave you with this, taken from Proverbs chapter 14 and verse 31. He that oppresses the poor reproaches his maker. God bless. And let's all continue to fight for justice and equality.